Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. This show is brought to you by an organization called Million Kids, millionkids.org. We've been in business almost 15 years. We're right here in Riverside, although we are a national company. And our organization is a 501c3 nonprofit. And we live at the donations of wonderful people like yourself, so thank you. And our organization is dedicated to keeping kids safe from predators. And when we first started out with this, it was really all about educating the people about human trafficking. But human trafficking has changed so much over the last 15 years. And of course, now that we have open borders and we have homeless and we have cartel and gangs, everything has changed dramatically. But the other thing that we would often do is talk about online social media exploitation. And that is part of keeping kids safe from predators, is making sure your child doesn't hook up to a bad guy online, or if they do, they know how to handle it. And so we've done a whole lot of that effort. I will tell you, I'm just over the moon at our latest project, and some of you out there have donated and helped us fund this. But we are in the process of creating a whole series of videos. These are short form videos. They can be on TikTok, they can be on YouTube, they can be on our website, they can be on your website. And what they're going to be, the ones for the teens are just amazing. They're only about 2 minutes long, and they are made by teenagers themselves. Actually, to be honest with you now, most of them are 20, 21, 22, but not that far away from teenagers. And they know how to talk to young kids. And almost every one of them was a foster kid. And they are incredibly talented. And they have put together this little film opportunity for us, which we're funding, that shows basically why you don't want to send a nude photo. How do you handle it if somebody's trying to blackmail you? And I'm very, very excited about that project. If you want to help fund that project, by the way, just go to millionkids.org and hit that donate button. But in the meantime, I had a really amazing experience this weekend, and I want to share it with you. Now, before I do that, I want to talk, because that we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and the role that it will play in what we believe, and the role that it'll play in crime and crime solving, even how you prosecute crimes. But there's an old-fashioned crime that took place this weekend that reminded me that I should remind you on how to protect yourself, or at least get your senior citizens in your life to pay attention and protect themselves. And in this case, it's that old kind of thing. It's been going on for years, where somebody calls an elderly person out of the blue and says their grandchild's in trouble, they've been picked up by the law, they need bail. And in the old days, they'd actually send you down to Target to get gift cards. I couldn't believe it in this particular one. This is out of Florida. It's a real case. They arrested the people, and quite a few of them, by the way, were women that was doing this. And so what happened, there were 6 of them that were arrested for stealing nearly $250,000. I'm amazed they were able to get that kind of money in this old-fashioned fraud. But they would contact the grandparent, your grandchild's in trouble, blah, 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 blah. And in this case, it'd actually say, put the money in a cardboard box and leave it on the front porch. Well, that's really antiquated, okay? But they still got $250,000 out of old people doing it. And that's the reason why I'm sharing it with you, is don't forget to talk to grandma and grandpa to don't do that. Don't ever get yourself involved in giving anybody money, especially if they call you. One of the gals that works with us at Million Kids, and she's an amazing lady, her name's Dina, she was telling me that her mother, which would have been her kid's grandmother, had a great way of handling it. They would say, this is your favorite grandson calling, and then what happened is grandma would say, well, is this Ted or Bobby? And they would say, well, it's Ted. And then grandma would laugh and hang up and say, I don't have a grandson named Ted. And that way she could verify it. But regardless, that's kind of a cute thing. But the danger is even staying online that long was one of those people to play that game. If you don't know who they are, hang up. It's that simple. If they're asking you for money, hang up and stay hung up. They'll call back. I get these over here in our office where they'll call in. They seem to have all of our phone numbers, and I'll hang up on one and they call back on another. Here's what I want to make clear to you. From here on out, because of artificial intelligence, because of the way technology has come together all over the world, the idea of having any privacy at all is gone. These people are going to know everything about you. They're going to know your bra size. They're going to know the size of your underwear. They know what kind of vitamins you take. They know what kind of laxative you take. Okay. They know everything about you. And that is going to become more and more so. So the name of the game is learning to live as a family in a way that you can be protected. One of the first things that I tell families is get a family code word between you. I like the word wackadoodle because most people don't know it. But make up a word or create a word that you all would know if, in fact, they're saying, I have your son, I have your daughter, I need money, your son needs money, your grandchild needs money. Anybody that contacts you and wants money, first of all, run, baby, run. That's very simple. It's a very basic strategy. Run, baby, run. Get out of there, hang up, don't talk to them. Especially if you're online in one of those dating sites or games or hookup sites and you're talking to somebody and they seem wonderful and they want a photo or they want some money and they're on an oil rig in Saudi Arabia, run, baby, run. Anybody who wants money online, get out of there. And that's a very simple, straightforward thing to do. But to protect your family, make sure you get that code word with you. Now, I'm really anxious to share with you the rest of this show because I had an incredible weekend this weekend. I happened to go to Las Vegas to see a family member, and there I met some people that are really cybersecurity experts. And we had a lot of long and in-depth conversation about artificial intelligence, how it's going to affect us, how it affects us now, how it affects what we believe, what we share with others, what we think is truth, the speculations that we make about politicians or about other people in our lives, our ability to trust each other, the way that we meet people, for instance, on dating sites and hookup sites and online like that, video gaming chat room where you make friends online, a friend of a friend. And artificial intelligence will change all of that. And for the next couple, 3 segments, I really want to talk about that. One of the things that I really, really believe is even today, artificial intelligence is being used to drive what we hear, the stories that we are told. It's really interesting because I'm known for my research since I combat human trafficking and money laundering and social media exploitation and all these kinds of online crimes. I do a massive amount of research. I have for 14 years now. And I always try to look at the research and say, where is this coming from? Who's saying it? How do I know this is true? Is it based on fact or is it based on somebody's opinion? Or is it kind of a mixture of fact and opinion? And where did they get the information? Is it being documented? Can we look at it? I thought about that because as it came out this last week with the Hunter Biden trial, that 51 people we trusted, people with good reputations, signed a document a couple of years back saying that the Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. Now it's gone to court and it's been proven that none of that was true, that all of those statements made were literally driven by political zeal, if you will, and not based on fact at all. And it's really coming out to not be true. This is Opal Singleton, and it is break time, so stay with us. We're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the four most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about the role of artificial intelligence. And where I'm going to take this has to do with crime and crime solving. I first looked up some definitions of artificial intelligence because everybody talks about AI this, AI that, like we all know what we're talking about. But in essence, it's machine learning or deep learning, and it can be both. And over the past 10 years or so, let's make up a number, but over the past many years, the technology people have been very diligent in gathering up all the facts on Earth and some not facts on Earth and putting them together, and they feed them into machines, and then they ask them a question, and that machine spits out the answer based on everything that's put in there. And then a team of people look at it and says it's right, wrong, or indifferent, and if it's wrong, then it reteaches it, puts in new data until the machine gets it right. So that's a very unsophisticated description of it, but that's basically how it works. And so in the last couple of years, they've come out with GPT, and you can ask it anything, and it will come up with answers. And of course, the kids all at school have learned to put that in for their homework and see what they find out. But also politicians are learning to do it to find out really how to communicate with you and what is the most interesting to you and like that. I'm fairly certain that as we get closer and closer to the election, there will be a lot of data put into various kinds of artificial intelligence as that comes back and tells you which words are most attractive to voters and which ones turn people off. And it's about communicating, part of it, but it's also about problem solving. And so this is going to be an interesting thing as it goes on, because this generation of young people that you are raising, mom and dad, will live in this world. And I was talking with my husband this morning about this, that what a challenge it's going to be for parents and grandparents to raise your children in a world where it will all be controlled by fixed data that has been pre-decided on what you should hear and what you believe. And the bottom line for me is I think we all should start right now as a family and start to understand what we believe. I share that with you because there are many benefits to AI. I mean, there really are many benefits. In a corporation, it can help in a variety of kind of manufacturing processes. It gives you a consistency and messaging that you want to put out there. It can set things that should be set in stone on, for instance, employee policies and things like that. It probably will enhance efficiency in some cases. Most likely, it will expand the amount of data that can be put out there and the volume and the reach of that data. So life is going to be very, very different for our children, because a lot of this messaging that they receive will be very sophisticated. The reason I gave the issue before the break about the situation where 51 people signed on that the Hunter Biden laptop was not real. In fact, it was a Russian hoax. And now we find out that isn't true. Well, just imagine where this is going to be in the future, because what is going to happen is a lot of data will be fed into various computers, various platforms, and they will be crafting the message that your children will be getting in the name of truth. It depends on what side of the aisle they're on, if it's a political issue, but it can be about a lot of things about what you believe. And I think that this is important that we get back to basics on something like that. The reason I say that is that I deal a lot with the crime of sextortion. And you will hear me talk a lot about the crime of sextortion. Sextortion is blackmail with a photo or an image or live streaming, but it will also be blackmail by deep fakes. So what is happening here? Artificial intelligence can take the picture of your young child and turn it into a sexual image, but you'll still be able to recognize your child's face. Or they will alter their voice so that they can say something that maybe the child didn't say. And this is where we're headed for the future. This is exactly why people say beware of being on TikTok. Now, I understand the issues of TikTok. I myself from time to time are on there, but again, whoever owns that platform is gathering up all that information. And they're gathering up your child's facial features, your child's body features, your child's address, and like that. And that will be true all over the world for every app. I'm not picking on TikTok. In TikTok's case, they happen to be Chinese. But don't you think that that's happening in America with Facebook and Instagram and all the others that are out there? Wiz is the big one right now that everybody is on, that's creating lots of headaches for crime solving for what it's worth. So we start to talk to our kids, and one of the things that I really want to say with our children is stop today and think about the future. Number one, never ever put anything online that is compromising of you. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't be changed in sometime in the future. You can put a perfectly healthy image online, and every kid does. But if you put a picture of your nude body on there or parts of it, that gives them something to work with. But that is called child pornography. The new word for child pornography is called CSAM, child sexual abuse material, or CSAM, child sexual exploitation material. But the bulk of what is online right now is what is called self-generated CSAM. In other words, it's our young people who decide they want to take a nude and post it somewhere out there. And that is still CSAM, even though nobody else is maybe requesting that. If they're putting it on there, that is self-generated CSAM. The scary part about this is where are all those images going to go, especially now and in the future. An organization called Thorn, Thorn, just published some new documents out there. 69% of minors who have shared self-produced CSAM, that's a nude, okay, or something similar to nude, did so within an offline romantic relationship. Girls are more likely to admit to this than boys. The platform used for online sexual interaction, the number one is Snapchat, because all these kids think it's going to go away. Good luck. Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, TikTok, and Twitter. The new one is Wiz, W-I-Z-Z. It's a hookup site used by criminals, and in some places it's been removed. Boys are 8% more likely than girls to report having shared their own nudes and are 1.5 times more likely than girls to report having reshared someone else's imagery. Minors are now more frequently seeking offline support, meaning finally the kids are starting to ask for help by about 12%. What I want to share with you is why this is so important. Because this generation of kids have grown up with social media where they think of it as one big social game. They laugh, they put things online, they make fun of other kids who put things online, they share nudes, they share all kinds of information that can and will be used against them in the future. On top of it, now with artificial intelligence, there is no end to the amount of ways a person could be violated. So what is happening with artificial intelligence, and how do we find out who is violating our kids, and what do we do about it? Well, we do know this is taking place overseas. If you listen to this show regularly, you know that in places like Nigeria, Western Africa, Pakistan, Ivory Coast, Philippines, and like that there are whole gangs that go online and trick literally millions of our kids into sending a nude, and then they want money. But the real challenge for that, and the real challenge is to investigate that. How do you find somebody who's living in Western Africa when your kid is sent a nude and they are literally hammering your kid for money, and a lot of it? Many of these kids, one of them got over 1,000 texts in a 24-hour period, and many of them either attempt to take their own lives and some are successful. These gangs are particularly brutal. But what happens in the future if this is all committed by a bot and not a person? Who are you going to arrest, and how are you going to deal with it? This is the challenge that you have in that kind of thing. So this is Opal Singleton. We'll talk some more about this. Be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic.
Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about artificial intelligence and the role that it plays in crime and crime solving. So as I mentioned before, this weekend I spent the bulk of the weekend with a bunch of cybersecurity experts. And it was really a fascinating time and some great discussions we have. It is a bit terrifying, even for someone like myself that works in this kind of business, because of where this is going. You see, one of the reasons I worry about kids sending nudes online is because I know where they go. Basically, what is happening here is that for all the good people that are online around the world, there are a lot of bad people, people who want to do bad to small children. And literally what they're doing is building large-scale underground dark web rings where they are trading and selling and buying images of children. And this is really a serious, serious matter. And law enforcement has put a lot of effort into it. For the first part, this has been taking place in the dark web. But the dark web has changed a lot over the last 5 to 10 years, because it used to be that if you set up a dark web site, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just kind of back up a minute. If you think of the internet as a bucket of water, the top 4% is the internet that you and I live in. That is called the clear or surface web. Then you have the deep web, that's government agencies and big corporations. But then you have the dark web. And the dark web isn't like we have in the surface web. It doesn't necessarily have search engines. It does have a directory, but it basically is home to a lot of clandestine activity. And what happens in that is that it is a place for bad guys to form large-scale groups that you can join and do lots of things. That's where when your bank card gets hacked, that's where the data is sold. I remember I think it was 2016, the DNC was hacked and all your voter data was being for sale there. And I got to see the transaction of what it looked like. And I was amazed at how much they know about their voters. They also know the size of your underwear. Well, maybe that's not true, but I'd be willing to bet it was true. Anyway, they know everything about you, and it's being sold in the dark web. Well, this is also, and by the way, drugs and fentanyl and guns and all kinds of things that are out there. But one of the things that happens is they form large-scale CSAM rings. And so one of the things that's difficult is, how do you know if that's law enforcement trying to join one of those rings so that they can take down the rings and arrest the pedophiles that are part of it? And so it's always a game of cat and mouse of trying to prove that you are not law enforcement when you join. Well, all of this is done with bots. Okay, so first of all, the dark web has changed. You no longer need like sophisticated programmers. They can do plug and play. So they often will set up and close down a dark website about every 55 days on average. But if you want to join one of these sites, I'm looking at a case here by Abel Garcia de Leon. He received 10 years in prison for collecting and being a member of one of these dark web sites. But in his testimony, he said that he had to submit 3 CSAM videos to a private chat in order to verify himself. So you're saying to yourself, is this a person that's asking for these videos? No, it's a bot. It is artificial intelligence bot on a platform that says, prove to me, basically, you're not law enforcement by submitting these videos, because law enforcement can't do that. However, the very minute that he submitted that, a second private chat bot came on and said, now I need 3 more in 6 minutes of someone under the age of 10. The reason I'm taking the time to share this with you is the crime here is not being conducted by a human being. The interaction is with a bot. So our laws are not prepared for this at this point, because it isn't a human being that's doing that. Yes, there was a human being that designed the bot and placed the bot on there, and that perhaps can be tracked back, or it maybe is partial of that. But I share this because at the same time, we're going to have these deep fakes. We're going to have people out there using bots and algorithms to take the images of our children and modify parts of their body, so it is no longer them. And, do they keep the face so that your child is embarrassed at school if this shows up somewhere? Or do they keep the body and put somebody else's face on it? At what point is this really illegal? And who do you arrest if it's all being done by a bot? So the idea of deep fakes is coming on, and it's coming on very quickly. Already, they can change your image and they can change your voice. They can change your child's image and your child's voice. And this is the reason why I say that we need to back up today and start to have these conversations with our kids. This is no longer a game being online. This is called the World Wide Web, with more than 5 billion people on it, and some of those people are not nice people. We cannot allow our kids to go online thinking everybody's going to be wonderful and nobody's ever going to hurt them. If they're going to live on the World Wide Web, they need to know what bots and algorithms and deep fakes are, because that is the very next generation of this. And I've tried to take a look at this and say, how do we combat that? Well, this comes back to the idea of values about, is there such a thing as digital morality with our kids? Putting a nude online, is that okay? Regardless of how much it compromises you by the fact that you're out there, more important, you have made a decision to put something very sacred online that will make you and your family very vulnerable. Meeting up with people you don't know that you meet online can be extremely dangerous, and we need those conversations. I often suggest to parents that you get a contract with your child. Number 1, get a code word for the whole family. Number 2, build a contract with 4 points. Every app your child has online, you're going to have, and they're going to teach you how to use that. And you're going to check their phone and go back and forth and have those conversations about, while that may look like a simple decision to you, let's talk about where that's going to end 2 years from now or 3 years from now, or what damage that might do to the family. So number 1, you're going to have all the apps. Number 2, they will never, ever, ever, never go out and meet up with someone they met online. If I had a different show, I could scare the socks off you, because I know so many of the cases and none of them end well. So many of the times the kids never mean to run away. They just want to see what that person looks like. And by the time they're in the car, it is just too late. So they'll never meet up. Number 3, they'll never put anything online that will embarrass you or embarrass them. And, even if you can't project out how it's it's going to be. Anytime that you have a nude online or a sexually salacious is the word I'm looking for, kind of thing online, you're going to be able to be in a position where people can use that against you, and even bots and algorithms can get a hold of it and modify it some more. So it will not look like what you posted. And number 4, if they find themselves in trouble, they will trust you enough not to do anything crazy, like try to take their own life or run away or hurt themselves in some way. That if you're going to trust them with that device, that's a life-changing device you're handing to a child. And I understand everybody's going to live in a world of technology, but make that agreement and get everybody to sign it, that if they make a mistake, they will trust you enough to come to you and you will help them. And the two of you will work it out. You know, the world we're headed into is an extremely complex world. I believe parenting and grandparenting in this age is the most important and complicated and unclear mission of all time. You have been chosen to lead the generation of young people that will live in a world where their images will be out there forever and will be altered, and they'll be able to reach the entire world, and the entire world can reach them. You talk about a challenge of a lifetime. It's going to take each and every one of us to make this successful. My name is Opal Singleton of millionkids.org. It's break time. We're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about the role of AI in crime and crime fighting. Well, at the break, I was talking to our producer, and he was telling me about a new fast food company that's coming to his area. I think they sell chicken. And they remember and record your license plate and what you ordered the last time. So when you pull up to save time, they go, you want the same thing, da 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 da, and you can reorder and make it that simple. They probably even keep credit charge of. I don't know if they do this, but if I were them, they could keep part of your debit or credit card. Well, there are advantages, and life will be different, okay, no matter where you go and like that. I read an article that I thought was really, really helpful. This is out of technology reporter Jane Wakefield, and she's talking about how AI will play a role in crime and crime solving. And they give an example of a person that's a victim of domestic abuse, and she's on the phone to 911. She's scared and upset her ex-husband's trying to break into her house. While Sarah's talking to a human, the call is being transcribed by AI software that links directly into, and this story is coming to you out of the UK, into the police department. She tells the handler the name of her husband, the date of birth. The AI quickly retrieves his details. It flashes up that the man has a gun license, which means the police officer need to get to the home as soon as possible. So they basically are giving this as an example of how this works. And so what they're saying is that you can do this the same as if you're ordering chicken. You can do this when you call in, and that is where it's going. The big challenge with all this, and by the way, then they say they can attach that to license plate readers so that they can find out where the potential perpetrator's car is. I laugh when I read that because right now in California, we're having a war about whether we allow police officers to have license plate readers. I know of at least 3 cases here locally that it has saved someone's life. And it's a fascinating time to me that you're having all of these gangs and cartels that are just receiving all kinds of money. And they're having drones that they're putting sophisticated tracking information on and cameras on and even weapons on those drones. And the bad guys are receiving huge amounts of money while we're over here defunding police and questioning whether or not they should even be allowed to read a license plate. And I think that it's a sad time in America and that our values have reached some point that I'm not sure how to deal with it. I do believe AI will change our lives, some for the good and some for not so good. But what we really have to do is understand the world that we're living in right now and help prepare our children to understand the good and the bad of those discussions and really help them define what they believe in. I say that because we're in a very heavy political environment right now. I've never seen our nation to the point that it is. Now, I've seen contentious elections and that kind of thing taking place over the years and throughout history and around the world. This is not just unique to the United States right now. There's all kinds of upheaval going on in Canada and the UK and France and Germany, politically, even in Southeast Asia, politically. So politics is a blood sport. But one of the things that is concerning to me is when you mix all of this technology to politics that can alter truth. And this is really where I'm coming down on, because we see words, and this is where AI is going to be used with politics, is they take an event and they'll describe an event and they will process this event through AI until it's palatable, until it comes out with the reaction that people want to hear. That is really, really scary to me, because what they're really saying is, what version of the truth or untruth are people comfortable with? And that's all part of machine learning. It gives them a way of crafting a message that's acceptable. The danger of this is that we lose our values, that we lose the truth, that we lose the commitment to protecting and doing what is right. If we have to completely reposition an event until it's palatable to the public, then we have a problem with our moral standards. There's truth, and we need to understand what is truth. Where I'm coming from on this is I don't have all the answers. We're living in a fast changing world. In my case, I see it when it goes wrong. I work with families when a kid gets violated online because they've sent that naked photo, or they met up with somebody that's a bad guy and it ended poorly. So I see it from that end. But I also respect law enforcement and the rule of law and the need to prosecute and the need to investigate with integrity to be able to find out who the bad guy is and hold them accountable. This is going to be more and more difficult in the future as all of this is changed by technology, and it's going to be created by bots and algorithms, and the criminal acts will be taking place by a group of bots that you can't locate and make it very, very difficult. The bottom line is families need to know who they are and what they stand for. This is taking place. We're going to live in that world. Technology is not good or bad. It's how you choose to use it. And there will be people who choose to use it for bad. But there are also people who will choose to use it for good, to share about their spirituality and the good in the world, and to find good things they can do for each other, and to educate very poor people who can't go to school, that you can literally create cyber missionaries, whether it's doing good here in the U.S. or doing good overseas. There are many good uses for technology, and that is where we need to come at. But if we're going to do this, we need to talk about digital morality and having those discussions about who we are and what we stand for. More and more, I believe it's important that as a family, you come together and state your values and say, whether it's done online or any other way, this is who we are and what we believe in. We're going to, especially as we get nearer and nearer the election, there is going to be a whole bunch of stuff out there that you say to yourself, there's no way that can be true. It sounded pretty good for one side or the other, but it's just not true. It is really up to us to get back to truth and get back to basics. And I believe that's exactly where it's at. We will benefit from AI in many, many ways, but some of us in our families will pay the price with AI if they choose to make poor decisions and put their family out in some way that they get compromised. This is really, really important to understand. I want to thank you for taking your Saturday afternoon. I know it's hot out here and it's been an interesting day for you, but I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this show and to understand it. And I hope you'll write to me. You can do that at Opal, OPAL at millionkids.org, OPAL at millionkids.org. I'm not 911. It takes a little bit for me to get back to you, but I value your input and your thoughts. I believe the most important thing we can do is believe in our families and take care of them. We sell the I Believe in You coins. Many of you have ordered those. You can order those online at millionkids.org. I think it's the most important thing that we can do to our kids. The four most powerful words on earth, whether it's our kids or our spouses, is I believe in you. And we will believe in each other. We will stand together. And technology or no technology, if we know who we are and what we stand for, we'll still be standing when all this other technology melts down. And it'll probably happen at some place in our life. If you want to support this work of Million Kids, I'd sure appreciate it. You can go to millionkids.org and hit that donate button, or there's a P.O. box on there if you're old-fashioned, like to send in the checks. I still like those checks. I get them myself, and praise God for it when they come in. So thank you for your support. I'd ask you to think about this week. Look at the information that you receive and say, how do I know if it's real? How do I know if it's true? And have those discussions with your kids. There are a lot of people that want to change our thinking one way or the other. But on the bottom line is that if we know our values and we know what we stand for and we know what's truth for us, we will stay standing when others fall. This is Opal Singleton. The organization is known as Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org. You can write to me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. Put your arms around your family. Give your spouse a big hug. Let them all know you're proud of them and you love them. See you next Saturday at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590. The Answer.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.